What's up guys, and welcome back to the channel. So today I'm down at Carolina Auto Direct and we get to take a look at this 2022 Ford F450 Lariat Super Duty. So huge shout out to them for providing this massive truck for me today. Make sure you guys check out their website. They're always getting in some awesome pre-owned inventory, the largest selection that I've seen. Definitely check them out. That link is down below. But the F450 that you see behind me is finished off in iconic silver and it has a list price right over $102,000. And underneath the hood for this F450, this has the 6.7 liter PowerStroke turbo diesel V8. This is paired to the 10-speed automatic transmission and it pumps out 475 horsepower around 2,600 RPM and 1,050 pound-feet of torque as low as 1,600 RPM. This is rear-wheel drive with the four-wheel drive system. It weighs in right around 8,500 pounds, and there's also a few different fuel capacities for this truck. This model here has the 48-gallon tank. This has a wheelbase of 176 inches. Its overall length is 266.2. It has a width of 96 inches and a height of 82.1 inches. And then as we work our way to the exterior for this F450, you can see just how massive this truck is. It's finished off with a lot of chrome for the front end, but it blends in nicely, especially with this exterior color. This also has LED headlights, DRLs, and turn signals. You can see the DRL wraps the outer housing all the way down, turn signals right in the middle, of course. We have the LED fog lights just underneath that. And you can see all the chrome trim is nicely integrated together, just blending it all in. The Ford logo is right in the center. We have plenty of cutouts in this grille to provide cooling to this engine. You can see the two chrome tow hooks up front, as well as the lower air dam. Now this truck is not built for MPG, it's built for towing, but this can at least help when you're pulling those heavy loads. And then you can see Super Duty is spelled up on the upper section of the hood there, with really nice lines that run down it, just giving it that aggressive, beefy look, especially with this front end appearance. And as we work our way to the side, you can see those massive fender flares just above the 19.5-inch wheels. So those are all around. They have that Super Duty design to them. You can see the Lariat F450 badge, along with the 6.7 liter PowerStroke turbo diesel badge that you can see in the lower section. This has the PowerScope side mirrors, so these do deploy outwards, makes it better for towing. There's a spotlight on the side too. And up on the roof, this has the clearance lights that you can see. This is a massive truck, as I mentioned, so you can see just how long it is. This also has Super Duty just above the running boards there, so of course those will help you enter and exit. This has the longer bed too, so it's around 8 feet. Still has a good side profile design to it, and you can see just how large the rear fender flares are with all this bodywork here to cover up the dually in the rear. This also has the mud flaps too, both in the front and the back. And then as we work our way to the rear, you can see Super Duty spelled out. This has LED taillights. We have the chrome bumper. This has the backup camera and the parking sensors are integrated there. And this has a towing capacity right around 24,000 pounds. If you use the gooseneck option, it's closer to 32,000 pounds. And this also has a payload right around 3,400 pounds. So it's a very, very capable truck. Let's work our way to the bed now. You can use the button on the key fob or the one up underneath. And you can see this has the spray-in bed liner to give it much more added protection. You can see the tie-down hooks. We have the cargo lights as well. And then over on this driver's side, you can see the outlets there. So you can power tools or various items like that. And this truck also has the bed step. So all you need to do is push on this button here and you can retract that step. You can also bring out the handle and lock that into place. So that makes it very easy. If you're entering and exiting this truck multiple times a day, that makes it very helpful. And then you can quickly fold all of that back up. And even though this is a big truck, the tailgate is very lightweight. So you can easily close that with one hand. But that's a look at the exterior for this F450. Let's work our way to the back seats now, where you'll see the door panel has a really nice design. You can see this wood trim on the upper section. We have a brush trim just on the front side of the release handle. And it's nice to see that the release handle is somewhat hidden. So it's nicely incorporated into this, and when you need to use it, it is easily accessible. You can see the split design for the storage. A little bit in the middle, you have a ton of room down below. This truck also has the 10-speaker Bang & Olufsen sound system. And as we work our way to the back seats now, you'll see we have that running board I mentioned earlier, along with a grab handle at 5'10". Makes it very easy to jump up into this massive truck. And you'll see with the front seat set at my height, I have plenty of room for my legs and my feet. You can see there's a little bit of storage too. And I have a lot of room above my head here. You could easily be taller than me and still be comfortable in the back seats and have 2 other people next to you. It's a full-size truck. It's meant to have full-size adults in the back, so it's very spacious. You can see right in the middle, we do have the armrest along with 2 cup holders. This also has the power sliding rear glass, so you can open and close that as needed. And you can see right in the middle, there are 2 cup holders. We also have a USB, a USB-C, and a 3-prong outlet, along with a 12-volt too. You can definitely charge all of your electronics. You also have an air vent on both sides. There's a massive amount of room in the footwell here, so even with the seats folded down, you can place in smaller items if you need to. And then you can also lock these seats up. You can do that on both sides, where you can see there's a nice flat surface for any larger items you need to stow in here. There's also this tray down below that you can flip up and lock into place, so you can have a divider so that way items aren't rolling around. It makes it very convenient, and then all you have to do is pull on this latch and you can lock the seat back down. So it's very versatile if you need to put in more items. And then this truck does have the remote start, so you can see the key fob. We have unlock, lock. You can use this button to start it up, and then that button for the tailgate. So if I lock the truck, double tap that button. Especially with the turbo diesel, it fires right up. You can get this warmed up in the morning. You can double tap on that again and it will shut off if you need to do that for any reason. And then with the truck unlocked, you can also use the keypad on the side to lock and unlock it if you'd like to. You'll see the door panels finished off just like the rear one. However, there's a lot more storage space in the lower section of the door. And you can see we have the memory seating adjustments along with the side mirror adjustments. So as I mentioned earlier, this has the PowerStroke mirrors, so you can see those extend and then bring them back in just depending on your towing and the size trailer that you have. You can see all of the other side mirror adjustments along with the window controls. And then moving on to these black leather seats now, you can see they have a really nice design to them. There's gray stitching running down the bolsters and the headrest, perforations running down the inserts. These are automatic seats, so all of those controls are down on the side. And this also has a set of all-weather floor mats. And just like the rear, we have the running board and the grab handle, which again makes it easy to jump up into this or get out, of course. And the door opens very wide, so that's great to see as well. And then the steering wheel here is completely covered in leather. You can see more of the stitching, also the brush trim on both sides. But let's start this up now. With my foot on the brake, we have that button over on the right side, and we can bring this to life. And looking at this gauge cluster, you'll see over on the right side is the miles per hour, on the left side is the tach, and right in the middle you can see this massive LED screen where you can go through a lot of information. The vitals that you see in the upper section are fixed, so you can see your fuel level as well as engine and oil temperature. There's also a turbo gauge to monitor. And then using these buttons over on the left side of the steering wheel, you can go through the rest of this information. So right now you can see the trip and fuel economy, which is not too important in a work truck like this. You can pull up the compass as well. Just look at all this other information. You can scroll over to truck information, so you can look at your speedometer, your engine information, you have your seat belts, your maintenance. You can monitor all of that. There's also the towing tab, so you can go through all of this. When you have trailers hooked up, you can monitor the status. You can also input different trailers and have all of that ready to go, which is great to see. You also have your pitch and roll, as well as the degrees for the steering wheel. You can also look at all the standard safety features like the blind spot, the cross traffic alert. You have your pre-collision and all of that you can monitor. And then going all the way over to the left side here, you have my view. So you can configure this how you'd like to and basically see what is most important to you. And then in the lower section, you can also see what gear you're in. This truck does have the column mounted shifter, so with my foot on the brake, you can go into reverse very easily, of course. And we have the Sync 4 infotainment system right in the middle. This is a large screen, matches well with the size of this truck. And you can see currently we have the guidelines along with the backup line right in the middle. If I push on the plus, now we have a little bit different of a view. Very helpful for when you're backing up to a trailer. We can go down into drive, and this also has plus and minus, so you can shift using that. Just depending on what you're towing, it just makes it easier to hold a gear. Coming back to the steering wheel, you'll see over on this left side is all the cruise control settings. On the right side is volume and tuning for the radio, and then we have the Bluetooth and voice commands. And then working our way to the left side, all the way down at the bottom, we have the pedal adjustment. So you can use that to further be comfortable. You can see those pedals moving as I do that, of course. You can release the tailgate. We have all the headlight and parking light adjustments along with a dimmer switch for the gauges. As I mentioned earlier, there are spotlights on the corners of the mirrors. That's how you can turn them on and off. You'll see there's one air vent. And then up in the section, you can see the Bang & Olufsen logo along with a little bit of storage. And then coming back to this screen, there is so much information that you can go through. On the top section, however, we do have the engine braking, which you can turn on and off, along with your traction control and the hazards. And then looking at this screen now, in the lower section, you can see all these presets. So currently we're on audio. You can quickly get to your phone when that is paired. You can also pull up the navigation. There's a favorites tab, so you can put all of your favorites there, of course, depending on what you use the most. Under apps, you'll see that this does have Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. And then if you go into settings, you can look at some more information that you want to configure, just depending on what you like to see, of course. So if you have your navigation pulled up on this left side, you can quickly go through everything that I just went over. Looking at your music, you have your climate controls, heated steering wheel button. You can also pull on this button here and go through all of that information. So you can pull up your climates, your audio, go into your phone. It's really cool to see that split style. So just depending on what you'd like to see. There's an air vent on both sides with this really nice black trim piece just to hide in that screen a little bit better from the air vents on both sides. You'll see right in the middle, we have power and volume along with tuning. If I push on this button here, that will actually pull up a different screen. So if you want it more calm, you can pull up the date and the time. If I push on it again, you can shut it completely off if you'd like to. And then we're back to this screen here. We have a few other music controls right in the middle. You'll see over on this passenger side, we have a 3-prong and a 12-volt. On the left side is the 2-wheel drive, 4-wheel drive selector, along with the trailer braking system that's just underneath that. And then right in the middle is all the physical buttons for the climate controls. You'll see those appear up on the screen, of course, but if you don't want to use it on the screen, we have dials for your driver and passenger. You can see the heated and ventilated seat controls, as well as where you'd like the air to go. You can do auto and all of that. Nicely laid out, which is great to see. In the lower section here, you can see a wireless charging pad along with a little bit of storage, a USB and a USB-C. You can hide that with this really nice wood trim. You'll also notice there's more brush trim on both sides. We have 2 cup holders and a lot more storage over on this left side. And then looking at this center armrest, it's finished off in leather. You have a lot more space with this removable tray here. You can see the coin slot holders and whatever smaller items you have, and a very deep compartment for even larger items. As you've noticed, this truck is very big. Everything is big on the inside. We have a good amount of storage in the glove box, and this even has 2 glove boxes. So if you need even more storage space, you have that behind the Super Duty badge there. We'll take another look at these seats here. And up top in the center, being a work truck, we have all these auxiliaries. So if you have to hook up compressors or any type of equipment, you have these stock locations where you can quickly turn those on and off. We have the button for that sliding rear glass that I mentioned earlier, quickly opens and closes. You'll see in front of all of these switches, we do have a sunglass holder, which is really convenient. And then you can see the dome lights in front of that. So as we get this 2022 Ford F450 out on the road, the first thing that I wanted to talk about is while I've been moving this around in the parking lot, for the size of this truck, I'm very impressed with the turning radius that it has. And I've been able to maneuver in this cul-de-sac here very, very easily. I've been in other full-size trucks and dualies where the steering just didn't feel like it had enough to make it very maneuverable. This is a long truck, and so I really like how easy it has been to drive. Now, I own a Toyota Tacoma. I could probably fit that in the bed of this truck. This is that much bigger, but going from a mid-sized truck to this truck, it's really not all that hard to get used to. And let's give it a little bit of gas here, even though the truck is empty. Wow, with well over 1,000 pound-feet of torque. You're not buying this to be a performance-oriented truck, but with that much torque, you can get up and move, especially if you're towing that maximum payload right around 32,000 pounds. You have no issues, obviously, with towing anything that you need. Even looking at my side view mirrors here, I can clearly see the back corner of each side of the bed. So it's really easy to place this truck. And we do have the split design for the side mirrors. I forgot to mention that earlier. I really like them being in that horizontal position there. To me, it just gives me a little bit more visibility. And then obviously when you have a trailer, you can stick these mirrors out and see whatever you have in the back. I really like all these materials. It just gives it a really cool look for a truck like this. Like I said, that turning radius is so tight, which is great to see. And we're up to speed in a matter of seconds. That's very impressive. And as far as visibility goes, along with being able to see the corners of the bed, Pickup trucks really don't have any blind spots because the glass is right there. So you can easily see over your left shoulder and your right shoulder. And so now as we switch over to the POV angle for this F450, we are up to speed just like that. Very cool to be able to do that in this size of a pickup truck with how much this weighs. But obviously you're going to be using that for towing. And we could take another look at this interior with that massive screen there. Definitely has a really nice vibe to it. I love all of the materials, all of this trim. Just blends in nicely with this truck. And one more acceleration. And we are up to speed. You can see how far the passenger side is from my arm here. There is that much space in between the driver and the passenger. So you can be very comfortable even with your front seat passengers here with the amount of room that's offered. And a quick visibility test from this angle. You can see over the right shoulder there and then over the left shoulder. Again, very easy to see. But I think that's gonna wrap it up for my walk around review and test drive behind the wheel of this 2022 Ford F450 Lariat. Once again, massive shout out to Carolina Auto Direct. Check them out, all that info is down in the description. If you guys enjoyed today's video, give it a huge thumbs up and consider smashing that subscribe button so you don't miss out on our daily uploads. And I'll see you guys in the next video.